Okay, I was just telling that uh, I was discussing about publication ethics in the previous classes. So in that, in the initial first class, we had discussed about honesty, integrity, etc. Plagiarism also we had discussed. These are all related to various publication ethics, what we should follow during our research work. And also in the next class, we have also discussed about various duplicate publications and some data manipulation, etc. And also we have discussed extensively about the conflict of interest and also various sharing of equipment, sharing collaborative research, what are the things we should do and so we should not do. So during thesis writing, I have not covered actually because this is a separate class we'll take on that, thesis writing and various report writing. And screening of manuscript is also very much important. We have discussed in the previous class. Actually, before sublimations in BRC, we have a good system in place in which we screen our manuscript for plagiarism. So before sending it to for any publications, we screen the manuscripts, and also we take some undertaking, and also various procedures are there during reporting, process of complaints, etc. that we have discussed in the previous class. So today we'll start with research ethics. Actually, this I would have taken in the beginning class also, but anyway, I just in the beginning also came just a replacement of Dr. Emma in between. So my classes were little reshuffled. So no problem because matters are remaining the same. So today we'll start with ethics of research. So what is ethics of research and why we should adhere to various ethical standards? Those are because it's very important during any type of research when we are doing. This is very much important. So in general, research is known as search of knowledge because something are there and also in that some gap areas will be there. So we are searching what is not reported or done before. So that is known as research. So research is nothing but a systematic investigation to gain a new knowledge from already existing facts. So certain facts will be there or from that we'll see that what are the things missing in that particular work. So in that what extra we can do the addition, so that is known as research. So in between also I'll tell certain lines in Hindi because few students have told me that they are from Hindi medium. So जैसा हमने बात करते हैं कि because I know that a few students are purely from English medium, so it will be difficult if I'll tell most of the things in Hindi. So I'll try to mix Hindi and English in between. So I'll repeat. I'll not tell anything which is in English. I'll definitely try to repeat it in Hindi also. जैसा रिसर्च होता है कि नॉलेज की खोज, तो जो कुछ हमारे पास ऑलरेडी काम हुआ रहता है, तो वहां पे कुछ कुछ गैप एरियाज रह जाता है, तो उसके अंदर से भी हम कुछ नया चीज खोज सकते हैं, तो वही होता है रिसर्च. So the research, scientific research enterprise is built on foundation of trust. तो कोई भी रिसर्च हम जब बात करते हैं तो वहां पे ट्रस्ट होना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. So why this is so much of important? Because scientists trust that results reported by others are valid. Because I am telling that this research is finding new knowledge from existing facts. So whatever existing that is reported, if it is not correct, then that gap areas will be very difficult to understand. So whatever they are reported, we assume that these are correct in nature. So whenever some scientists are reporting some results, they should have the ethical standards in place so that any wrong thing they should not report, and if by mistake something reported, they should retrieve or they should replace the thing, otherwise they can put a errata also. The last class I have explained those things. So scientific research enterprise is built on foundation of trust. Scientists trust that the results reported by others are valid. Society trusts that the results of research reflect an honest attempt by scientists to describe the world accurately without any bias. Because whenever a scientist publishes or presents some research findings, the world accepts it because they accepts that it is a true finding. So if ethical standards are not followed during that particular research, then the results may be misleading. So will misleading the whole world maybe. तो इसलिए इस तरह का हमको नहीं करना है, बिकॉज जो आम आदमी होते हैं वो हमारा जो रिसर्च फाइंडिंग हो उसका उसको बिलीव करने की कोशिश करते हैं, तो इसलिए हमारा भी फर्ज बनता है, तो हम जब भी कोई रिसर्च करते हैं तो हमको सच्चाई को ही दिखाना है. So that is that's why ethics is so much of importance. But this trust will endure only if the scientific community devotes itself to exemplifying and transmitting the values associated with ethical scientific conduct. So research ethics, what are these? These are guidelines and principles that govern the responsible conduct of research, ensuring it's conducted with integrity, respect, fairness. In the last class also, during publications, I have already emphasized these terms, that we should be fair, we should be maintain the integrity, we should be respectful for others. तो इसलिए कोई भी हम रिसर्च जब करते हैं तो हमारा जिम्मेदारी होता है कि हम उसको एथिकल स्टैंडर्ड्स फॉलो करके करेंगे, और साथ में क्योंकि इसके साथ हमारा इंटीग्रिटी, रेस्पेक्ट, ये सब भी जुड़े होने चाहिए. दिस रिसर्च कवर अ वाइड रेंज ऑफ इश्यूज, क्योंकि हम कोई भी रिसर्च करते हैं तो ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ एक पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक पे ही रिसर्च होता है. रिसर्च कैन बी ऑन एनी टॉपिक. It can be a science also, it can be a commerce also, it can be a business also, it can be a social type of research also. So it a diversified field when we are talking about. So they cover a wide range of issues. So कभी medical issues हो सकता है, जैसा कोई particular disease को हम attack कर रहे हैं, तो मीन्स टैकल करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, तो वहां पे प्रॉपर एथिकल स्टैंडर्ड अगर हम अगर मेंटेन नहीं करें. आज एक एग्जांपल भी दूंगा. सो वहां पे शायद आप लोगों के लिए थोड़ा सा वो ज्यादा क्लैरिटी मिल जाएगा. तो वहां पे क्या प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है वो थोड़ा हम आज देखेंगे. सो दिस वेरियस रिसर्च दे कवर वाइड रेंज ऑफ इश्यूज फ्रॉम पार्टिसिपेंट्स राइट्स and data handling to intellectual property and potential harm. All these things can be hampered if you are not following any ethical standards. So why are research ethics important? First is ensuring trust and credibility. So जैसे मैंने पहले क्लास में ही बोल दिया था कि when we are working for a reputed organization like BRC or Department of Atomic Energy, DAE, or various institutes of DAE like IGCAR or even HBNI, which is a reputed institute for research. So we have to maintain the credibility of our organizations. We have to maintain the trust of people that whenever we are associated with such reputed organizations, they should believe that whatever we are doing with proper ethics, and we are telling the truth during the research. Ethical research builds trust in the scientific community and the public. जैसा हम कोई भी ऐसा ये सिर्फ हमारे लिए एप्लीकेबल नहीं है. कोई भी अगर छोटे से यूनिवर्सिटी में अगर कोई भी अगर रिसर्च कर रहे हैं तो उनको भी एथिकल स्टैंडर्ड्स फॉलो करना इसलिए जरूरी है कि उनका खुद का क्रेडिबिलिटी और उनका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का क्रेडिबिलिटी उनके ऊपर होता है. अगर उन्होंने कुछ साइंटिफिक फाइंडिंग्स को ऐसे ही जस्ट पब्लिश कर लिया विदाउट प्रॉपर एथिकल स्टैंडर्ड्स फॉलो, सो दैट मे बी क्वेश्चनेबल. तो उनके ऊपर भी क्वेश्चन हो सकता है, उनका ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के भी ऊपर क्वेश्चन हो सकता है. तो but when we are working for a very reputed organization, the responsibility becomes too much important. Also, why this research ethics are important? Protecting human rights. Ethical guidelines are crucial for protecting rights and well-being of research participants. जैसे कि बहुत सारा रिसर्च होता है तो ह्यूमन पॉपुलेशन के ऊपर रिसर्च होता है. जैसा कुछ मेडिसिन का इफेक्ट हम स्टडी कर रहे हैं, जैसे वैक्सीन का इफेक्ट स्टडी कर रहे हैं, या फिर कोई नया ड्रग्स का इफेक्ट हम स्टडी कर रहे हैं. सो दैट विल बी कंडक्टेड ऑन वेरियस पॉपुलेशन. So in that case, we have to maintain the human rights also. We have to protect the human rights in that case. and we have to follow the ethical guidelines, otherwise that will be a very disastrous case. One example I'll tell today, and this is for well-being of the research participants also, because whenever we are conducting our research on various human beings, they may be they may be affected due to our research findings. Some examples I'll discuss today. And also, maintaining scientific integrity. Ethics ensures the validity and reliability of research findings. So if the ethical procedures are in place, then the validity will be ensured during our research process, and also reliability. Whenever we'll produce our research findings, there will be more reliability. So that's why research ethics are important for maintaining the scientific integrity, and also promoting accountability. Ethical standards hold researchers and institutions accountable for their actions. जैसे कि हम लोग जब रिसर्च करते हैं तो बहुत सारा हम लोग जो रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट्स में काम करते हैं, सो दोज आर मोस्टली पब्लिक फंडेड होता है, और नहीं तो हमको सैलरी भी मिलती है उसके लिए. सो इट इज आवर रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू अकाउंटेबल फॉर वट एवर वर्क वी आर डूइंग. So we cannot just do any type of work and we just publish those things. So, and we have to do we have to accountable for everybody. So whatever we are even this छोटे से एग्जांपल अगर मैं दूंगा, अगर हम कुछ reagents वगैरह भी यूज कर रहे हैं तो उसका एक कॉस्ट होता है, तो उसका कॉस्ट को भी हमको अकाउंटेबल करना चाहिए कि ओके मैं अपने रिसर्च के लिए इतना अगर कॉस्ट कर सकता हूँ, whether we can do it in a less price. So if in that case we can save the certain revenue also for our research work that can be utilized for some other work. Otherwise also for institutions we can save a lot of money in that case. So if the ethical standards will follow, so we'll not just go on repeating many things. We can plan the things properly so that an unnecessary expenditure can be minimized by following various ethical standards. And also fostering a culture of integrity. Ethical conduct creates a positive and respectful research environment. So if all the ethical standards will be in place, there will be a respectful environment created in your surrounding. So because if there is validity, there is reliability, everybody will appreciate that yes, this group of researchers are doing good things, so that it will create a positive environment. So whenever there will be a positive environment, it will be very fruitful, and more productive research outputs can be obtained from that environment. So there are several key principles guide research ethics, which are a few I have listed here. So one by one I'll try to discuss. The first one is the autonomy. This is respecting individuals' right to make their own decision about participating in various research. So just now I told that research are not always a scientific research. It can be a business-oriented research. It can be a social-oriented research. It can be a medical research. It can be a different type of research. Or rather, this type of all these things will be discussed in your research methodology classes. I think it has not yet started properly. So my classes are actually supposed to be after these things. So. But anyway, I'll just giving a little briefing about those things. So whenever there are this type of social type of research we conduct on various participants. So whenever we are taking some participants, like a medical research also. Medical research means whenever we are inventing some new medicines or preparing some new medicines or new vaccines, etc. We have to, at the end of the research, we have to apply it to the various human beings to see the effects. And also whenever we are collecting some social data, like behavioral study we are doing, or the preferential, various preference of various communities, that type of work, that type of research when we are doing, then we are involving various participants, which are human beings. So we have to respect their individual rights. जैसा autonomy का जो definition होता है, this is a person's right to make informed and voluntary decisions about whether to participate and how to withdraw from a research. So whenever there is a research and we are involving various individuals, so in the beginning we have to clearly mention that, okay, this is the type of work we are doing, and these are the things we are going to we are going to have this type of information from you, which will be utilized for our research work. And if you are not comfortable, or if you are not liking the things in between also, there is a possibility that you can withdraw from the research. So in that way, we have to respect their the person's decision. And also the right of a person or the organization or region, etc., to govern or control his own affairs is known as autonomy. So in that case, we have to respect various individuals. So autonomy is nothing but the respect to others. So in that case, we have to maintain the confidentiality, we have to maintain the privacy of the research. So just one or two examples here I'll mention. We are taking a social type of research. So in which we have to see the condition of various patients. Let us assume HIV patients. We are taking the so means the mental status of various HIV patients. So if we are telling that we are going to various HIV patients, and we are about for our research we are explaining. And after that, if you are not maintaining the confidentiality and privacy, their names will be open to the public after our research work. So they may face various difficulties in the society. So we have to maintain that's why confidentiality. If they are not really agreeing to our research, we should not force them to be a part of our research. So their decision, we have to pay respect. Next is the beneficence. The beneficence is maximizing the potential benefits of research while minimizing the potential risks. So beneficence, in other words, we can tell that this is doing good or acting in a way that benefits others. So this is nothing but actively promoting the good. So this type of beneficence is very much important when we are talking about healthcare type of research. So here we have to prioritize the well-being of the individuals. So we have to give importance to the benefits of the others. So when we are doing some medical type of research, I have mentioned that well-being of the individuals are to be given priorities. So if we are we are discovering a new drug, then in the beginning also we have to follow the studies has to be completed before going to the human trials or animal trials. So that will ensure that yes, things are in place and it can be applied to animals, and also that can be extended to humans. So it should be good to the benefit, because in our preliminary study, if we find that it is not it is not having much benefits to the individuals, we should not apply the drugs directly to the human being. So in the stepwise manner, if you are going, so if you are following the ethical standards, then ethical standard will ensure that first all the studies has to be completed. It has to be first applied to small elements, then it should be applied to the human beings. So that will ensure that it is mostly benefiting the others, not it is harmful. It is not harmful. And next key principle is the non-maleficence. So this is avoiding harm to research participants and society. So non-maleficence is nothing but the not initiating any harm to the individuals or participants during our research work. So this is the obligation to avoid causing any harm to or evil to the participants. And this is also very much important whenever we are carrying out any healthcare or social type of research. In this case, we can also tell that balancing between benefits and burdens, we have to discuss with the participants. Uh, Same example I'll repeat. The carefully weighing the potential benefits and risk of the various treatments. Whenever we are doing a medical type of research, it's good. Okay, fine. So I was saying that same example I'm just repeating to explain this particular principle. So in which we have to balance between the benefits and burdens. So whenever we are developing a new medicine or drugs, so it will be definitely having some good beneficial properties. Along with the beneficial properties also, there may be little chance of some risks or side effects. So that's all, those things we have to clearly mention to the individuals who are participating in our research. So in that case, we have to tell that these are the benefits, and there is also a risk factor associated with that. And also we feel that as a researcher, it will be much more beneficial than compared to the risks. So we have to balance that. Benefits should be more, and the risks or the difficulties has to be lesser during our this type of research. So moral rules we have to follow in that case, like not killing, not causing pain, suffering, not causing offense to various individuals. This type of things comes under non-maleficence. And here I'll just mention that whenever we are doing some this type of medical research, we have to apply into some animals. So in that case, we are going to kill. So, but when we are in the larger scale, we are getting a lot of benefit. We have to do some sacrifice. So, but in that case, we have to try to minimize as much as possible this type of harm to anyone involved during that particular research work. So this is non-maleficence. And the last one is justice during the research work. So justice is ensuring fair selection of participants and equitable distribution of the benefits of research. So here, ensuring fairness in how research participants are selected. Ethical principle has to be utilized. Now, burdens and benefits are distributed. So whenever there is this type of research, there will be some benefits, and also there will be some burdens. So we have to apply it to the homogeneous type of participants during this type of research work. How the research process is conducted, we have to clearly design, and that will help in minimizing any type of injustice. So the justice has to be as much as possible. So this justice also include inclusivity as always representation. Whenever we are doing this type of we are applying our research to various population, we have to see that it has to be inclusive. So all types of population has to be included in our society. We should not enforce this to particular group of people. Like just one example I'll give. Like sometimes a research organization may apply a research which may have some negative impact on human being, that they will not apply to rich people or high society people. They will just select some poor people, and they will apply the things to there, because they will understand that the poor people will not understand what is going on. So that type of also people do sometimes. So this is a very highly unethical practice. So we have to do justice. And in that, we have to do the inclusivity. So all types of population, whenever we are applying something to our population means large number of people. So we have to include all types of means all types of regions, all type of male, female, and all we have to include. And during that, fair recruitment and selection of the participants are also to be done, ensuring fair selection of participants and equitable distribution of the benefits of research. So in that case, we can do the justice to various population involved during the research. So these are the four key principles of research ethics. So in this table, I have mentioned the similar things only. So first, the ethical issue is voluntary participation. In the beginning, I have told that your participants are free to opt in and out of the study at any point of time. So in the beginning, we have to first mention what is the research about, and we have to tell that you are free to join, and we have to tell that this is required very much for our research work for the benefit of the society. And if you during the research process, if you feel like that this is not going in a proper direction, what we have mentioned in the beginning, so you can opt out of the research work. तो जैसे अभी मैंने बताया कि जो भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हमारा रिसर्च में रहेंगे तो उनका वॉलंटरी पार्टिसिपेशन मीन्स खुद से वो आपके पार्टिसिपेशन रिसर्च में पार्टिसिपेट करना चाहिए। आप कोई फोर्स से या कुछ बिना बताए छुपा के उनको इंक्लूड करना ठीक नहीं है रिसर्च में, वो एथिकल स्टैंडर्ड्स का खिलाफ हो जाएगा। तो कभी भी रिसर्च के बीच में उन लोग अपना ये जो रिसर्च छोड़ के भी जा सकते हैं, उसका ऑप्शंस भी उनके पास होना चाहिए। Informed consent is required. The participants know the purpose, benefit, risk, and funding behind the study before they agree or decline to join. So in the beginning, whenever we are including any population, we have to clearly tell that this type of study we are doing, and this will be the proposed benefits, and these proposed benefits will be larger compared to the risks. And whoever is doing the funding for the research, that also we have to tell that this organization is doing the funding, and we request you to be a participant. Okay, I think there was some difficulty in the slide. So I'll just repeat because these are normal things also. You can understand just by seeing the slides also. So here I was telling that first ethical issue is voluntary participation. So the participants should be free to opt in and opt out of the research program during any point of time during the research process. तो जो लोग होते हैं, voice is not coming. Okay, just हेलो, अभी आवाज आ रही है? अभी आवाज आ रही है तो आई विल कंटिन्यू, ठीक है? ओके फाइन. So I was telling, I'll repeat once again, it's not a big deal. So in the beginning, I told that in the beginning of this slide, I told that participation should be voluntary in nature. Your participants are free to opt in and opt out during the whole study at any point of time. तो आपके रिसर्च के बीच में अगर आप कोई ऐसा ह्यूमन पॉपुलेशंस को लेके रिसर्च कर रहे हैं, तो उनका पास ये ऑप्शंस होना चाहिए कि वो पहले कभी भी आपका रिसर्च को ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं, और कभी भी अगर उनको सूटेबल नहीं लगा तो वो रिसर्च को भी लीव कर सकते हैं. ये ऑप्शन उनके पास रहना चाहिए. ये इसको हमको रिस्पेक्ट करना पड़ेगा whenever we are involving any population for our research work. Next one is the informed consent. So whenever you are utilizing participants for our research, we have to take their consent. They should know that what is the purpose of the research, what will be the benefit of the particular research to them and also to the society, and what are the risks associated, possible risks associated. And also you have to clearly mention that in the beginning we have carried out the preliminary studies and we assume and we are very much sure that the benefits will be much more compared to the risks. And also funding, who is funded, doing the funding of the research, that type of also information we should give to the various participants who are involved during the research process. तो रिसर्च में जो अगर हम किसी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को इन्वॉल्व कर रहे हैं तो उनका कंसेंट लेना बहुत जरूरी है। तो उनको पहले से क्लियरली हमको बताना चाहिए कि हम ये रिसर्च क्यों कर रहे हैं और रिसर्च में क्या क्या अच्छाई हो सकती है और क्या क्या रिस्क इन्वॉल्व हो सकते हैं। और रिस्क अगर हम प्रॉपरली बोल देंगे तो तभी से हमको इजी होगा बताना कि हमको लग रहा है कि इसमें बेनिफिट्स ज्यादा है और आपका हमको सहयोग इस रिसर्च में बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसलिए हम आपको इसमें पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं। तो उनका कंसेंट होने के बाद उनको हम लेके अपना रिसर्च में इन्वॉल्व कर सकते हैं। नेक्स्ट वन इज द एनोनिमिटी। यू डोंट नो द आइडेंटिटीज ऑफ द पार्टिसिपेंट्स, पर्सनली आइडेंटिफाइबल डेटा इज नॉट कलेक्टेड। जैसा मैंने बोला था कि जस्ट एक एग्जांपल दूंगा यहाँ पे। हम एक यूनिवर्सिटी के बिहेवियरल पैटर्न्स कुछ या कुछ सम सोशल कॉज टाइप का हम स्टडी कर रहे हैं, जिसमें हम देख रहे हैं कि वेदर द कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स आर इन्वॉल्व इन सम ड्रग्स एक्टिविटी और नॉट। तो हमने तो डेटा कलेक्ट कर लिया, अगर डेटा के साथ हमने ये बोल दिया कि ये पर्सन ड्रग लेते हैं करके उन्होंने बताया है, तो उनके ऊपर स्ट्रिक्ट एक्शन हो सकता है। तो anonymity will not that will be questionable in that case. So whenever you are taking that type of social type of identity of the persons are very much important. जैसे मैंने थोड़ी देर पहले बताया था एक एग्जाम्पल में, so we are doing a research on HIV patients. So, and after the end of the research, if you are publishing that we are conducted on this type of persons and these persons were HIV positive and they had given this type of information that the trauma they have gone through. हमारा हो सकता है कि आइडिया कुछ उनको एक्सपोज करना नहीं रहेगा, बट हमने बिना सोचे समझे अगर कुछ बिना एथिकल गाइडलाइंस के अगर हमने बोल दिया कि ये पर्सन ने ऐसा बोल दिया, तो हमारा रिसर्च तो हो जाएगा, बाद में उनके लिए तकलीफ हो सकता है कि पीपल विल बी नो दैट ओके दिस पर्सन्स आर एचआईवी पॉजिटिव एंड देयर इज अ सोशल स्टिग्मा इज देयर टुवर्ड्स दिस टाइप ऑफ पेशेंट्स। तो वहां पे उनको काफी तकलीफ हो सकती है। तो वी हैव टू मेंटेन ethical standards in that case to maintain the anonymity of the research persons who are involved in doing our research, and the confidentiality clause we have to maintain. This I have told in the beginning also. In the first class itself we have told that confidentiality we have to maintain during all type of research. You know who are the participants, but you keep the information hidden from everyone else. You anonymize the personal identifiable data like उनका नाम, उनका फोन नंबर, ये सब हमको उनका साथ जो हमारा डेटा के साथ अटैच नहीं करना चाहिए। So it can't be linked with other data by anyone else. And also potential to harm. There is a possibility of potential to harm that may be physical, that may be social, that may be psychological, and all other types of harm are kept to absolute minimum. So we'll try our best that during this type of research, by applying various ethical issues, we'll try that this type of harm should be as low as possible. Result communication. To ensure your work is free from plagiarism. Plagiarism we have already discussed in the previous class, or research misconduct, and you accurately represent your results. Next. So here I have given little more explanation about the potential harm. As a researcher, you have to consider all possible sources of harm to the participants. Sorry, I think. So I'll just repeat this potential to harm I was telling. As a researcher, we have to consider all possible sources that can harm to the participants. We'll try that this harm should be as low as possible. Harm can come in many different forms. First one I have mentioned that the psychological harm. Sensitive questions or tasks may trigger negative emotions such as shame and anxiety. Okay, if you are doing a social type of survey, so during survey we are conducting the survey on various populations, and we should not ask some questions which may affect their emotions. जैसे अभी जस्ट मैं एक एग्जांपल दूंगा. कल ही मैं देख रहा था वो कश्मीर केसेस में जो विक्टिम्स है उनको पूछा जा रहा था, and they were asking all types of questions. So the lady was really means getting worried, and she has started crying in between. So we have to be empathetic. That is okay. There are news channels they are asking, but during our research, we have to take care that we have to be empathetic to our participants. We should not trigger any negative emotions to any of the participants, and we have to be really careful during the research work. And also, social harm. Participation can involve social risks, public embarrassment, and stigma also. Like I have already told that if you are telling about the various populations which are giving their opinion, so we have after that there will be a social risk also. I'll not discuss much about this. And also physical harm, pain or injury can result from our study, like a medical research if we are conducting. So there is a possibility that it will lead to an adverse effect on the particular population. So in the preliminary study, we have to ensure that the physical harm has to be minimum as minimum as possible. And also legal harm. Reporting sensitive data could lead to legal risk or breach of privacy. This also I have mentioned during the publication ethics part. So reporting sensitive data has to be avoided. And as we all are working in an organization like Department of Atomic Energy, our responsibility is also much more. We should not put any sensitive data in the public domain. So legal harm also can occur during our research work. So we have to take care by applying some ethical standards. It's best to consider every possible source of harm in your study as well as concrete ways to mitigate them. Involve your supervisor to discuss steps for harm reduction. So during this research procedure, there will be various steps will be involved. So I'll just mention few of the things in your classes. It will be explained in more explicitly. So during your research design, you have to take that this type of harm should not occur, and for that you can take the opinion of your some research supervisor also, or your colleagues also. You can take that consider. Otherwise, also brainstorming sessions we can have. In that case, we can discuss and reduce the various harmful effects that can occur during this research process. Make sure to disclose all possible risks of harm to participants before the study to get informed consent. This I have already told that we have to take the consent of the participants, and for that we have to first tell them, disclose all possible risks that can occur to the participants, like first what are the psychological harm, what is the social one. But we'll tell that these type of risks are there, but we are trying our best to minimize all possible harm that can occur to the participant. After that only we have to include the participants in our research work. If there is a risk of harm, prepare to provide participants with resources or counseling or medical services if needed. So if we feel that there is a possibility of some side effects for a particular medicine which were applying to a participants, so we have to tell that this type of we'll tell that it can start some little headache in the particular. So if you are having headache, what is the remedy? What are the medicines you should take immediately to avoid this type of thing? So this type of medical services should be provided, and also if there is the involvement of some psychological harm, so we have to that there is हो सकता है हमारा ये जो प्रोसेस से आपको थोड़ा सा दिक्कत आ सकती है, तो आप थोड़ा सा काउंसलिंग सेशन आप इसके साथ अटेंड कीजिए, तो आपको कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा. So this type of things we should tell to the researcher, the research participants. So one example here I have given. In a study on stress, college students were surveyed on their alcohol consumption habits. Some of these questions may bring up some negative emotions. So like हो सकता है कुछ स्टूडेंट्स के उन्होंने कुछ केसेस देखा हुआ है जिसकी वजह से अल्कोहल कंजप्शन की वजह से किसी ने किसी को तकलीफ दिया है उनके घर में. हो सकता है जैसा मैंने कुछ सोशल वर्क से इन्वॉल्व हूँ, तो वहाँ पे हम लोग थोड़ा बच्चों के साथ काम करते हैं, तो वहाँ पे हमने कभी कभी बच्चों को पूछते हैं कि क्या क्या आपका इश्यूज हुआ था, तो बच्चे बोलते हैं कि ऐसा कुछ पापा शराब पी के आते थे और मम्मी को मारते थे. एक जन ने तो ऐसा बताया था कि शराब पी के आके मम्मी को मैंने जला दिया था. सो उसके बाद उसके साथ जो मीन्स इमोशंस आया, इट वाज वेरी डिफिकल्ट. सो अगर हम कुछ रिसर्च में उस टाइप का इन्वॉल्व कर रहे हैं, तो हम उसको ख्याल रखना पड़ेगा कि कुछ नेगेटिव इमोशंस वहां पे जनरेट नहीं होगा, और हो रहा है तो हम उसको मिटिगेट कैसे करेंगे, उसको मिनिमाइज कैसे करेंगे, उसको हमको ख्याल रखना पड़ेगा. So you inform your participants about the sensitive nature of the survey and assure them that their responses will be confidential. अगर जैसा मैंने यहाँ पे एग्जांपल दिया है कि अल्कोहल कंजप्शन हैबिट्स हम कुछ कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स के अगर कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं, तो अगर हम उसका एनोनिमिटी हम मेंटेन नहीं करेंगे, अगर वो उनका नाम को अगर पता चलेगा तो हो सकता है कि हमारा रिसर्च तो हो जाएगा, बट वो कॉलेज को जब पता चलेगा कि दिस स्टूडेंट्स आर कंज्यूमिंग अल्कोहल, दे मे रस्टिकेट द स्टूडेंट्स. So that will be very much harmful. We have to educate the students that this is not this is having a bad thing, and we'll try our best to the student that they should not consume, but we should not open the things by which there can be really means harmful effects can be occurred to the participants. Next. So here I have given one ethical failure example. So here I have just taken from internet. I have mentioned so from where I have taken, on which today only in the morning I have taken this example. This is not to pinpoint any organization or country by giving the example. This is just an example to tell that this type of research sometimes happens, but by applying ethical measures, we can easily avoid this type of ethical issues, because this is a very big example of ethical failures. Here I have given a syphilis study was conducted by a public health company. That study that violated research ethics throughout its 40 years of research work. They have actually conducted the research work for 40 years nearly. And in this study, 600 young black men were deceived into participate with a promise of free healthcare that was never fulfilled. So in the beginning, I had told that it was to be whenever we are taking the participants, it has to be homogeneously selected. But here they have taken young black women, black men, 600 people they have involved in their research, and they are deceived into participate. They are forced into participating for that research work, and they have promised that the participants will be provided with free healthcare for throughout the time, but they have not provided any healthcare to the participants. In reality, the actual goal of the research study to study the effects of the disease when left untreated. So if the disease is given to the particular participant, and if they are not treating the disease, what type of side effects will be occurred, that was the actual aim of the study. And the researchers never informed the participants about the diagnosis or the research aims. So they have not disclosed the aim of the research, and they have just randomly applied to a group of people which are poor, which are not knowing the actual situation. Although participants experience severe health problems, including blindness and other complications, the researchers only pretended to provide medical care. So they were actually studying what is the effects of this type of disease. So they were telling that yes, we are providing some medical help to you, but they were not actually doing any help to the participants, and the participants were having real trouble of various health issues. When treatment became possible in 1943, 11 years after the study began, none of the participants were offered the treatment, despite their health conditions and high risk of death. By the end of the study, 128 participants out of the participants have died of syphilis or related complications. The study ended only once its existence was made public and it was judged to be medically unjustified. So here they have not followed any ethical guidelines during the research, and you can see that many participants died, and they have reported that this type of if we are untreated, the persons will die. So this is not the way to conduct the research, definitely. So in our any type of research, we have to definitely follow ethical guidelines to ensure that this type of misconduct should not occur during any type of research. It can be medical research, it can be social research, it can be scientific research, it can be any type of research. So ethical guidelines, we have to first understand, then we have to follow it very religiously. Next, here I have just mentioned few of the things. Like any type of research when we conduct, it involves various steps. So here I have mentioned few of the steps which are included in research. At the end, I have written that ethical standards to be maintained in all stages of research. So here I'll just mention the steps involved in any type of research. First one is the selection of a research topic. Next one is the definition of a research problem, literature survey and reference collection, assessment of current status of the topic chosen, formulation of certain hypotheses, research design, actual investigation, data analysis, interpretation of result, report or publication at the end of the thing research. So in every stage, we'll face that we can bypass certain things if we are not following ethical we are maintaining the ethical standards. So if we follow strictly ethical values or ethical standards during all type of stages of the research, then there we can at the end of the research we can have a good research output which are positive environment. So here I'll just mention few of the things, like whenever we are selecting a research topic. So research topic should be such that it should be carried, it can be means achievable during that particular frame of organization or within that stipulated time. So if you are choosing a particular research topic which is very vast, so and but we are having a limited time, so the research will not be completed within that particular period. So the in between we have to leave the research. So the public fund only will be means using for our research, but it will not lead to any conclusion. And also sometimes we project like a big type of things we'll do during our research. So a lot of in the beginning we'll tell that a very ambitious project we can complete within very short time. So but actually we have to assure that whether that can be done during your particular period or within the scope of your environment. So selecting of the research topic becomes very much important, and if your ethical standards were followed, will in the beginning only will tell that we don't have that much of facility to conduct this type of research in our organization. So we have to do research which are feasible or which will be little challenging, but that is the possibility of feasibility. So like literature survey is one of the important part of the during any type of research. So we have to first assess that what are the works has already been carried out and what are the gap areas. So in that during the literature survey also अगर हम ethical standard follow नहीं कर रहे हैं तो हम क्या करेंगे just देख लेंगे कि okay okay this type of work is हुआ है और इसमें ये चीजें नहीं हुआ है. अगर ठीक से हम रिसर्च लिटरेचर सर्वे नहीं करेंगे तो हो सकता है बहुत कुछ हम मिस भी कर लेंगे और हम अपना काम स्टार्ट कर लेंगे और थोड़ा दिन के बाद पता चलेगा कि ये तो काम ऑलरेडी पब्लिश हो चुका है. सो आवर टाइम एंड मनी एवरीथिंग रिसोर्सेज विल बी लॉस्ट. So this type of things also we have to avoid by if you are but following some ethical standard, we'll do the research survey in a proper manner and we'll actually find out what are the gap areas and we'll tackle those areas very nicely. And also during the research design, what are the steps to be involved? That one we can work on. And during the actual investigations, we should not do any shortcut. So if you are following the ethical standards, then definitely you will not do any shortcut and you will do the research in a particular manner as this is designed during your research process. And also whenever you are doing generating a lot of data, you have to do some data analysis. During that data analysis also, we'll have to follow the standards. Otherwise, if we are manipulating the data, then the results output will be completely misleading. And report writing, I have already mentioned. So these things will just cover with an example in the next class. So here I'll conclude today. Thank you all of you. क्वेश्चंस वगैरह लिखा है क्या?